Welcome everybody. Just got old Munchkin Neko outside so we can get some grass. Chickens are hanging out. It's a beautiful day, May 5th. Cinco de Mayo, something about celebrating mayonnaise, I think, is what Cinco de Mayo. I guess it doesn't really matter as long as it's a nice day. I wanted to continue clearing the pathway right here of maple trees, so probably 15 to 20 trees, make that a bit of a pathway. And I'd done a video on that last week about potting up sugar maple trees, so I'm not going to cover that too much because the two that I put all the way over here 7-8 days ago, I'll show you how well they're doing, just for your information and for mine. It's a lot easier to walk through this pathway now. I've left them here. I watered them once. It's been raining. However, it's not like they directly get any rain. They still look pretty good. I don't know if either of these have dropped any leaves. And if I feel inside, still moist. Yep, still moist. And those are bare root maple trees that I'd pulled up. I sold 2 of them at our local, in a local auction. But the biggest, so I'm gonna do that. It'll take a little while. But I also wanted to try my hand at doing some cuttings of this mulberry tree. I have another one that I'm gonna take some pieces off too. Keep in mind, this isn't the best time of the year to do this because it's still technically spring. However, my timing doesn't always match up with the optimum to do things. But one of the problems is, like, this tree is kind of in my way of this pathway that I'm creating here. So I'm probably gonna cut it. This is the first time I've done it. I've watched some videos and stuff. So I would think if I even cut it here, this would root. If I cleared off some of the bark here. However, I think I'll probably just do huge cuts, just chunk, and all along here. I cut this way up here. Cut this, which is incredibly in my way, right? So I might end up with 30 cuttings, and I'll put them all in little pots and see what we can get to root out. I'm just kind of following the idea that if I expose some of this, it'll root through here, through the cadmium layer or whatever that is. But I'll scratch this up and I'll get as much as I can in the soil. And then as long as there's a bud or two above, it should leaf out from there, continue to leaf out. Like maybe the leaves will fall off of this, but then this will bud out, that kind of thing. So it's like been almost 4 minutes on this video, so I'm gonna get all this work done and I'll show you at least an example and show you what they look like potted up. But I really need to clear this walking area, and the tree can obviously support it since it's 30 years old. All right, I'll be right back. Lucy. Oh, see, camera shy. Here's a really cool visual of the taproot, one of these maples. You can see here, here's the tree, and all this had gone like that. And this is the actual crown of the tree. See the feeder root on the back there? That was really cool. So you got to cut it again right below that, with 2 hands, of course. So I just pulled 2 trees out of this spot, and it's what I've changed is I've only gone in once and then cut in to cut the root. So now I can do like that, pull the tree from the side kind of, and then the dirt will just go back in somewhat flush Because some of these spots, like those big trees right there, have the huge grass and all that, I just somehow like take all that off and find whatever hole kind of makes this pathway kind of even. A couple of these didn't go well, but that single cut technique has worked really well for like 12 of them. So I think it's definitely worth it. Maybe I'll just aim a little bit, I'll dig a little bit down further before I kind of angle it in. But yeah, it's kind of cool when you do that. You can start to pull the tree. You can almost pull the tree out from the center of all the grass. The only reason why you wouldn't do that and you break it apart from the sides is to try and save some of the feeder roots. So I got another 10 trees to go. All right, and there's 22 trees. I think it took about an hour. It's getting pretty hot out here, so I'd take a break. But you can see the line here, the line of maple trees, and then there's a heart nut right here, which is leafing out pretty well. I think I planted 6 or 8 of these, just kind of randomly throughout, so that'll be really awesome to have heart nuts. But I'm not sure if I'm gonna try and take the mower through here first. Suppose I'll probably do that and then just lay it with hay so I can get a different mix of seeds in there and probably throw a bunch of red and white clover. I'm just not sure if some of the stones that we've been making right over here. Oh, strawberries. Strawberries. Those are ever bearing and those don't spread. Yeah, so these little paw things and foot things, those are all set, but we're gonna have a number of these in with different colors. I just made these to try and test out the mix. But we got different shapes and sizes and stuff, but we'll have to see if over here maybe we'll do a couple of those stone pathways. But I'll at least mow it. That way it's clear what we're trying to do, because all this needs to be a planting area, and I have some bushes. There's an elderberry right there, there's a couple of hascaps, some blueberries that never want to live, and other random stuff that just pops up here. But I like to be able to plant out all this sheep mulched area and have this be a walkway. Doesn't need to be that wide. Like, I'm kind of accounting for the growth of these trees, so hopefully it'll just be maybe a 3-finger width, kind of walk by. So the bushes that are planted on this edge will be kind of on this edge, so there'll be a little bit of a room. Should be more cozy kind of walk through. So I'm gonna get these in soil. They're just sitting in water right now. I got some different pots. Kind of I'll show you right now once I get to the other side of the sun here. So some of these are really, really good. That's pretty good. And then some of them, if I can even find one that's not so good. Maybe this one's not so great. This is the crown. You know, so there's still a bit of taproot. Will anything grow from there? I'm not sure, but it's a good thing I had 22 attempts at making these, and these are all 3 to 4 foot tall. It's pretty awesome. Free sugar maple trees. Try and sell them for, I don't know, $5-10 a piece on the old Facebooks, and see how we do. Well, here are the maple trees. We got some straw on there. We got on dirt up to the root ball. We'll sell. I put 2 or 3 in each little deal there, so I'll just sell them for $10 a thing. Put them on Facebook. We'll see if we can get rid of some of these. If not, give it to the master gardeners for the plant sale, or I don't know, sell them out of the back of my truck, something. But if you're interested, if you go to this website and you fill out the questionnaire, you might yourself be a certified wildlife habitat. You need habitat and water and food sources and stuff like that. But if you let your grass grow and start planting like a mild man, you too could be a certified wildlife habitat. So now I've got to turn around here, and right under that pole there's a mulberry that's growing on the outside of it. Yeah, I think you can see it. And then I'll clear up the pathway around that mulberry. I just got to grab my water bucket, so I got something to soak these things in. Here's where I have my other sign, so people driving down can see, kind of protect my property from the government. But that's all that I've left is this mulberry, which hopefully we can get it to grow that way. Here's some of the major cuts that I've made. See, here's the main root. Cut off a branch there and here. So I did quite a lot of trimming. It's in the spring. I think it's a little confused whether it's supposed to grow or not, but this is like the week where everything's really going to start waking up. So hopefully I didn't damage it too much. It'll still do all right. But I got so many of these cuttings. Some of them will have to be trimmed again, and maybe if you can see here, it'll be one cutting, maybe 2, 3, 4 cuttings, and I'll get them stuck probably 5 or so in a little pot of dirt, and see. I'll probably put it right by the maples and see if we can get those to leaf out, and maybe we'll even sell those too or give them away, whatnot. I got my little work sander set up here, and I had to get some more soil because my composting system still isn't up to speed, so I gotta buy my own, but they're $5 a bag, and maybe I'll be selling a pot for $5. So I got a number of trees that I'll be making into cuttings, and what I'm thinking, like, this is really thick, and it'd be cool just to scrape some of this with the knife here and plant this. So I'm thinking I might cut off, I guess I'm in the sun here. Think about cutting that off here and just cutting this off and removing it because it's pretty beat up. So I'll cut this, throw it away, cut this, scrape it back, plant it, cut this, scrape it back and plant it, and then I'll scrape back this, and the only thing that'll be remaining is maybe this whole piece. From what I've gathered, is for any cutting, it's possible for a tree or any hard wood or whatever, any type of woody plant, to reroot from itself. And you need at least one bud above ground to leaf out and collect photosynthesis and things like that. So technically speaking, I could cut it right exactly here, scrape it, get this in the soil right here, and this be above, and it'll work. I think the more buds you have, the greater chance that you'll get one that actually flowers out or leaves out. And also, if you have more under the soil exposed, there's more areas there for it to root out. So like doing a longer area, doing scraping on the either side. So that's kind of the deal that I'm going to do. I have some larger pots, then I have some other ones here. So depending on the cutting size and whatever else, I will try to reuse some of the pots that have come in for trees of my own and bushes of my own, and get as many of these potted up as possible. And hopefully we'll have the makings of, well, mulberry trees, but more specifically mulberry bushes. Kind of like the idea of having bushes of mulberries instead of giant. I mean, you have to trim them every year or so, but to have mulberry bushes would be a pretty cool thing, I think. So I'll show you how it looks like when I get a little bit further. Alright, so I kind of changed my plan a little bit. I just cut that off and I'll stick that in. So I think I have a couple other chunky bits to put in one pot. You see here, I've kind of trimmed it around, and a little difficult with one hand here. And I'll fill this up more. I'll probably put a fourth one in there. Because the idea is, let's say I keep them watered and they seem to be growing all right, and these kind of start leafing out, I could be able to kind of pull this out, and the roots, if it has rooted, it'll kind of hold it together so I won't lose a bunch of soil. But I could easily separate these, because each single one would be rooted, and I would just have to take it out of the pot, see, and then just kind of finesse them away. I would do one tree per pot, but it seems like such a waste. I have so many cuttings and not very many pots. And it'd be kind of cool to sell 4 at a time, you know, $10 or something like that. And you could actually you could just plant this whole collection of mulberries, which I think would be pretty cool. One thing too is, do I kind of cut all these to the same length so it's not so hard to move around? Probably just snip it right there. Kind of get all of them to kind of be toward the center. I'm just thinking about how easy it'd be to store or put into a vehicle or whatever. Alright, so I'm gonna get all these potted up. Yeah, and this soil is definitely not soil. If we can read that. It is just about as broken down of wood chips as the stuff that's in my compost bin. And I didn't use that for a reason. However, I have some nitrogen in here, some little fake nitrogen, whatever, and hopefully that'll keep them alive for long enough. You'll be able to leaf out and start doing something, but hopefully I won't have them for too long. They're semi-secure. I mean, chopped up wood chips isn't soil, so it's not like these things can really be that sturdy in there. But one thing I will do to keep down on evaporation from the soil is I have some shredded paper. I just kind of shredded paper it up, and I'll have to keep an eye on how damp the soil is. I'll give them a good spray and see. I think I am just going to stack them up here. It is about 3 o'clock. Well, it's coming up on 3, so the sun will be coming up over, so then it'll get another 6 hours of sunshine. So these maple trees, the 2 that I had here for a week, did perfectly well. So I think that's just about enough sun to keep them in a semi-vegetative state. Sorry, English is my first language. So I'm going to do all that, and then I'm going to go and get a suntan, I think. Alright, well that's it for today. That was my attempt at making a 7-minute gardening video. I think it probably took 15. I still have to edit it and see if I can get those maple trees, the listing, active on Facebook. But I'm gonna get a tan. It's been a nice day. I got a whole lot done, but it's a good time to relax and hang out with the chickens a little bit, and yeah, enjoy nature, listen to the birds chirp instead of back-breaking work and digging up trees and all that stuff. But I think we did good, and I think we'll have some good mulberry trees and to sell to other people and get some food kind of planted around my city. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time. All right, bye-bye.